Blueberries are nature's candy, jam-packed with sweetness, vitamins, and antioxidants. Whether you prefer them in a yogurt bowl, as jam, or all by themselves, blueberries are well loved for good reason. But how can you tell if the box of blueberries in your fridge is still good to eat? And what are some signs that blueberries are definitely past their prime? Keep reading for a comprehensive guide to blueberry shelf life and storage tips. How do you know if blueberries are bad? Chef Jeff Woodward says you can tell if blueberries are bad if they have mold or soft spots. They also may have discoloration or an unpleasant or sour smell and taste. Blueberries keep fresh for up to 2 weeks in the fridge and about 1 year in the freezer. Store them in an airtight container in the fridge. Signs blueberries have gone bad. Mold growth. Chef Woodward explains that mold is definitely a sign that your blueberries are bad. Mold on blueberries typically looks like white and/or fuzzy spots. If you catch it early enough, moldy blueberries should not affect the entire bunch, so it's important to be very careful when initially washing your produce before storing. You can usually pick out the moldy berries and the rest should still be safe to eat. Mushy texture. Soft spots are another indication that blueberries are bad, according to Chef Woodward. Blueberries should be plump and firm with smooth skin. Wrinkling or shriveling is another sign that the blueberries are no longer good to eat. Your blueberries should not be mushy either, as this is another indicator of spoilage. This means the blueberries have lost their moisture, usually meaning that they're past their prime. Mushy blueberries may still be used in certain recipes, like pies or smoothies, as long as there is no visible mold. Discoloration. Fun fact: blueberries are actually purple, and that's the color they should stay in your fridge. Any discoloration, dullness, or lifeless appearance is a sign of spoilage. Sour or off-putting smell. Blueberries naturally smell sweet, so if you notice a sour, bitter, or otherwise off-putting smell, it's time to throw them in the trash. The bad odor may be a result of mold growth or the fruit's sugars breaking down. Either way, if it doesn't smell tempting to eat, don't eat it. Unpleasant taste. Tasting your batch of blueberries to determine whether they're still good or not should be your last course of action. If you do pop one in your mouth and it tastes sour, then either the blueberry was harvested before it ripened, or it's spoiled. No matter what, eating a whole bunch will be unpleasant at best and unsafe at worst. Avoid it. How long are blueberries good for? Fresh blueberries can be stored at room temperature for up to 2 days. If you have short-term plans for your blueberries, for example, and want them to be on hand, you can store your berries at room temperature for about 2 days. It's best if you keep them in the ventilated container they come in, out of the heat and humidity. Fresh blueberries can last up to 10 days in the fridge. Chef Woodward says that blueberries are good for about 5 to 10 days after purchasing them, because you don't know how long they've been at the store. If you pick them yourself, they can last up to 2 weeks. The sooner you eat them, however, the fresher they'll taste. Try to eat your blueberries by the 10-day mark, as they should still be ripe but firm and tasty. Frozen blueberries can last up to 1 year in the freezer. Freezing blueberries is one of the best ways to keep blueberries up to a year or more, according to Chef Woodward. If you've harvested way more blueberries than you can stomach, literally, freezing your leftovers is a great idea. However, they tend to peak in flavor at the 6-month mark. You can toss frozen blueberries into smoothies and yogurt bowls, bake them into pies and muffins, or heat them up on the stove to make jams, jellies, and syrups. Storing your blueberries properly. 1. Wash your blueberries before storing. Once you've returned home from blueberry picking or the grocery store, thoroughly wash your blueberries under cool water, careful to pick out the mushy or split ones. Then, pat them dry and find a suitable airtight container for them. 2. Refrigerate your blueberries in an airtight container. Once you've selected your airtight container, line the bottom with a paper towel. Then, add 1 layer of blueberries, followed by another paper towel. The paper towel acts as a barrier between each layer, helping the berries to retain their moisture. Store them in the fridge to keep them chilled, Chef Woodward advises. Store the blueberries in the center part of the refrigerator instead of the crisper drawer for better airflow. Freezing blueberries. 1. Freeze blueberries on a baking tray, then store in a freezer bag. You can absolutely freeze your blueberries, according to Chef Woodward. If you've washed the berries, pat them dry. Then, line a baking sheet of your choice with parchment paper and spread the berries out in a single layer. Space the berries out so they don't clump together during the freezing process. Place the baking tray in the fridge and allow the blueberries to freeze for a few hours or overnight. Make sure the berries are completely frozen and then transfer to Ziploc bags, squeezing out as much air as possible for optimal storage. Personal chef Jennifer Lavassa says, it's best to label your bag with the date and description of its contents. Those who wash the berries before freezing should make sure they're as dry as possible before storing. Those who choose not to wash them will have to wash them later on, but allowing them to keep their waxy coating while in the freezer can help prevent freezer burn. 2. Thaw your blueberries by leaving them in the fridge overnight. When it comes to thawing your frozen blueberries, Lavassa advises to place them in the refrigerator so they will thaw naturally to eat later. Or, you can run them under room temperature water through a strainer and place them in a bowl in the fridge. Do I have to wash blueberries before eating them? Yes. You have to wash your blueberries before you eat them. Washing your blueberries helps to remove dirt, debris, bacteria, and pesticides. You can either wash them when you first buy them or wait until you're ready to eat them. For extra cleanliness, you can soak your blueberries in a solution of water and a spoonful of vinegar. Make sure you dry them carefully so they don't get mushy. Do bad blueberries sink or float? In general, rotten blueberries tend to float, since they've lost the sugars and moisture, and are therefore naturally lighter. Ripe, juicy blueberries tend to sink because they're more dense and weighed down by sugars. Is it okay to eat bad blueberries? No, it's not safe to eat bad blueberries. Rotten or moldy blueberries can carry bacteria that make you sick, with potentially serious complications if you're allergic to mold. Do you have to throw the whole container away if one blueberry is bad? No, one moldy blueberry does not render the entire batch inedible. If you notice only a couple of mushy and/or moldy berries, you should be fine to toss those out and eat the rest. On the other hand, if over 1/4 of the berries appear mushy, it's best to toss them all out. What are some ways to use blueberries? Blueberries are delicious to eat by themselves, and they also make great toppings for yogurt, cereal, oatmeal, and other tasty foods. If you love blueberries in a baked good, check out our tasty recipes for blueberry crumble, blueberry muffins, and blueberry cobbler. Blueberries are delicious to eat by themselves, and they also make great toppings for yogurt, cereal, oatmeal, and other tasty foods. If you love blueberries in a baked good, check out our tasty recipes for blueberry crumble, blueberry muffins, and blueberry cobbler. Blueberries have a 2-week shelf life in the fridge and months in the freezer. It's fine to pick out the moldy berries of the bunch and eat the rest, but only if the large majority of the berries look and smell good. You can choose to wash them before you store them so you don't have to wash them later, or you can wash them right before you decide to eat them. It's up to you.